Hey, this is Brock with Straight Line Delivery, and I'm making this video to give you a few tips about trailer maintenance and trailer style to help you figure out what's the right trailer to buy for hot shotting and how to take care of it and the suspected cost and maintenance schedule that goes along with that. First of all, we run and specialize in flatbed freight, all the way from 40 feet to 48 foot full-size flatbed trailers. But what I'm going to talk about today is specifically hotshot trailers. And what we like to see and what our customers like to see, generally speaking, is a 40-foot trailer, a flat deck, and usually it's a 35 plus 5, meaning you've got 35 feet of wooden deck, and then the last 5 feet is dovetailed down at an angle, and then the mega ramps fold up and make the top last 5 feet flat, and the mega ramps cover almost the entire width of the trailer so that it can support 40 feet of flat freight like steel, pipe, things like that. When they fold down, you can drive a car or a bobcat or anything, almost the full weight of the trailer's carrying capacity onto it, so they're a lot stronger than pull-out ramps. The only drawback I see to that and have found to that is some people will not load freight on the metal ramps. They want to see a wooden deck, and in that case, if you're hauling a lot of that specifically, then you might want to look into getting just a 40 foot of flat deck with slide out ramps. The drawback to the slide out ramps is, one, they're narrow, and you can't load like a 3-wheeled forklift or Moffett onto something like that. Anything that's got a narrower footprint, like some of the smaller JLGs, man lifts, things like that, won't go up those ramps. They may not adjust enough. The other thing is, usually when it's a pull-out ramp, it will not support the weight. So if you're planning on hauling heavier stuff, dump trucks, JLGs, maybe some loaders, things like that, the pull-out ramps won't support the weight. 102 wide, mega ramp, 35 plus 5, hydraulic over electric, basically disc brakes, just like on your truck. You want a disc brake that clamps down. I've had experience with both. Disc brakes last so much longer; they pay for themselves. You can get rotors and replacement parts when they wear out. Replace them. You can order stuff online. There's so many options now. Drilled, slotted, rock auto. There's so many different options now for the factory replacements that you really can't go wrong. Now I'm speaking from experience with the old hub and drum style brakes. I've started out with those, and my experience with those has been over 5 years, over 400,000 miles. The maintenance schedule for me on those were about every 6 months. I threw everything in the trash that was a moving part, and I started fresh. Meaning I took the entire hub off, threw that away, and bought new hubs, new brakes with a backing plate and magnet, everything replaced. That's 4 bolts, take the backing plate off, put the new one back on, 2 wires to the brakes, to the electric brakes, and then a new hub right back on. Every 6 months I would throw the complete assembly away. Every 3 months, I would take the bearings out and inspect them. If they were dark, if they had any scratches or pits in them, I threw them away. I put in new bearings and races if needed. But normally they would get about every 6 months. And on a schedule I was running, you're talking about every 50,000 miles to 60,000 miles, somewhere in that range. So at about 20 to 30,000 miles, you're going to inspect them, clean them out. And I like to clean them. I like to soak them in some diesel fuel. I take a coffee can and I put diesel fuel in it when I do my filter changes. And I leave that coffee can sit in the garage. When I pull my bearings off my trailer, I throw them in that coffee can full of diesel, and that breaks down that grease. I'll then spray out that grease with brake cleaner. All right, and that lets me see everything really clean, really clear, no grease, no grime in the way, and I can check the bearings for, I check them for bluing, I check them for scars, any pits, anything like that. I trash them, throw them away. If they're good and they're holding together just fine, then I'll re-grease them. And I bought a really inexpensive, it's a funnel that the bearing squeezes between, and then you can pack grease in from a grease gun, and I like to use Lucas Thick and Tacky Red Number 2 in a grease gun. I have, like I said, 400,000 miles on 2 trailers in 5 years. I've never had a breakdown. I've never been stuck on the side of the road. I've never had to chain up an axle because I've lost an axle or a bearing. Never lost a bearing on the road, ever. I've had some that got pretty bad, and they were close, but I threw them away and replaced them. So a lot of people ask also, oil bath or grease. I have had failures with owner-operators on both, but I would have to say, by and large, I have had better luck with grease because it was explained to me like this by a guy who works on them every day. An oil bath hub normally, if you're lucky, will start to leak, and you'll see a problem and you'll catch it on one of your many, if you're doing your job right, many walk-arounds you do on a daily basis. I make it a habit of walking around the truck and trailer and checking out everything every time I get out of the truck, whether I'm loading, unloading, or fueling. That keeps the DOT out of my world, and that's the number one thing I'm concerned about is lights, things like that. But I'm also seeing my trailer hubs. I'm seeing if maybe they're hot when I first get out. I touch them. Is one hub really hot? Then that'll tell me whether a brake's hanging up or maybe I'm losing a bearing. The other thing is, if you've got oil bath hubs and you see a slight leak, that could turn into a major leak really quickly, and if you can catch it, you're going to be just fine. Oil bath seems to last a little longer as far as the service intervals, but I think that also lets guys get a little bit lazy on inspecting them because they see nice oil in there. It seems to be fairly decent shape. It's at the right level, so they don't inspect them. I would recommend everybody is just to get on a quarterly schedule. Every 3 months, I guess that's not quarterly, but every 3 months, inspect all your bearings. Just take a day, pull everything out, have a look. Every 6 months, don't even look at them. Throw it away, get new. There is no excuse not to have new stuff sitting on the shelf for the next time that you need it. I also carry extra stuff in my truck with me, like bearings, races. Carry an extra hub and backing plate. Doesn't cost much to have that stuff. Sit at the bottom of your toolbox. If you lose a bearing and it doesn't destroy the hub, then you can slap the whole thing right back on with a spare tire. I know guys that have kept a backing plate and these are greasable hubs, backing plate attached to the spare tire so they can take it off and just replace the whole thing if they need to. So those are some tips that I've been through. Like I said, 2 different trailers over the course of 5 years, probably about 400,000 miles. I've never had a service failure when I was personally servicing the trailers. I've had owner-operators with oil bath hubs and with grease hubs both have catastrophic breakdowns because I don't believe guys are doing the inspections on a timely basis. You buy a new trailer, time gets away from you. You think, hey, this is a new trailer, nothing's going to break down. When in actuality, the trailer might be 7 or 8 months old. You might have 70,000 miles on those bearings. They're shot. I don't care where you got them. I don't care if they're American, Chinese, Japanese made bearings. They're shot. Throw them away, get new ones. I hope this has helped you guys. If it has, hit like. Follow me on Facebook, Straight Line Delivery, or YouTube. And if you have any questions, you can always email me at straightlinedelivery@gmail.com or call 937-506-2252. Thanks. Be safe out there.